Good morning, televiewers. Huge thanks for joining us on today's edition of Prime Flash on My Media Prime Television. I am Eileen Sama. An aspect of the culture of the Bamoun people in Nun division of Cameroon's West region was performed yesterday, Sunday, the 9th of October 2022. Traditionally called Show Umelu, it involves the parade of communion between the king and his community from the ceremonial courtyard to the Fumban Port de Tranche, which is the main entrance to the town of Fumban. The Sultan King Forifum Muhammadu Nabil Njoya, who has been on the throne for 1 year, was paid allegiance by his subjects and notables in a unique cultural show that lasted 6 hours from 6 a.m. to 12 noon in the presence of some government officials who actively took part in the colorful event in Fumban West region of Cameroon. Relatively, as part of celebrations to mark the first anniversary of the passing of His Royal Majesty Ibrahim Bombo Njoya, Sultan King of the Bamoun, who passed last year, as well as the first anniversary of the accession to the throne by his successor, Mfurifum Mohammed Nabil Bombo Njoya, the name of the Sultan King, who has been in power for a year, has been inscribed on the royal board as the 20th King of the Bamouns as tradition demands. The high and rich cultural event took place at the Bamoun Royal Palace on Saturday, October 8, 2022 in Fumban West region of Cameroon. The event was marked by the cultural display of the rich cultural heritage of the Bamoun people and attended by members of government and diplomatic corps, traditional authorities, law enforcement officials, sons and daughters of Bamoun, and friends, among others. Cameroon's Minister of External Relations has asked member countries to designate Cameroon as host of the 44th Ordinary Session of La Francophonie Ministerial Conference scheduled for this year. This was during a video conference held recently, as Cynthia Azani tells us.
Cameroon's Minister of External Relations has headed the Cameroonian delegation during the video conference of October 6, 2022 for the preparation of the 44th Ministerial Conference of La Francophonie. The Minister of External Relations took advantage of this meeting to ask the member cities of La Francophonie to designate Cameroon to host the 44th Ordinary Session of the Ministerial Conference of La Francophonie, scheduled for 2023. Minrex recalled that the country, which has been campaigning for several months, has never benefited from the privilege of organizing such work in its land. He continued by thanking the states and governments that have shown support in Cameroon and counts on the entire French-speaking community for the favorable outcome of this project. According to the Minister of External Relations, Cameroon has started preparations for the 18th Francophonie Summit, scheduled for Tunisia on November 19th and 20th. It should be noted that Cameroon became an associate member of La Francophonie in 1975 and later a full member on November 19th, 1991. Since then, Cameroon has reaped many benefits thanks to this cooperation.
Some children from orphanages in Douala on Saturday, October 8, 2022, received gifts, enjoyed leisure and recreation activities from Quality Smile Restorers and an organization aimed at impacting lives with more smiles and less stress, especially those of the underprivileged. Details in this report with Bokengo Worthy Kemia.
More than 100 orphans from Trinity Foundation and Cœur de Jésus orphanages in Douala had more smiles on their faces yesterday, impacted by Quality Smile Restorers.
We have as objective to provide quality smile, reduce stress to orphans less privileged. So what we do is that we go to an orphanage and we provide them foodstuff, what they really need in an orphanage. And then we take the kids out for leisure. We have discovered that children actually just stay at home, they are in the orphanage, and they don't have the privilege to really go out and have this kind of location. So we decided as an organization, now we'll not just give food to them, we're going to take them out for leisure and recreational expedition.
This gesture was heartily appreciated by the founders and caregivers of these children.
I don't know how to express my joy. I don't want to say thank you very much to the founder of Quality Smile Restaurant.
For me, what I can say is just thank you. Thank you, Quality Smile Restaurant.
The kids were overjoyed with this gesture and expressed their gladness with prayers and words of thanks.
I want to say thank you to the Quality Smile Restaurant for this opportunity they gave us this year. Thank you for everything.
According to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, leisure and recreational activities improves the academic performance of a child, reduces their risks of depression, strengthens their bones, boosts their brain capability, and much more. With kids at most orphanages often receiving gifts such as money, foodstuff, clothes, and more, activities like leisure and recreation are almost the last on the list of donors, sponsors, as well as gifters. However, Quality Smile restaurants are seeking to change the narrative for these kids, their health, and overall well-being for a long time to come.
Onto this human interest story, a man in Yaoundé has lost his life after being lynched as he was caught stealing from a shop in the Mendong neighborhood. Reports say his accomplice successfully escaped the wrath of the mob on Saturday, October 8, 2022, when the incident occurred. This other human interest story, a woman is currently receiving medical care after being knocked down by a vehicle in the village in Banga, Mungo division of Cameroon's littoral region. Sources say the near-fatal incident occurred on Saturday, October 8, 2022, when a private vehicle was attempting to dodge a heavy-duty truck before hitting the old woman. Officials of the Cameroon Football Federation, FECAFOOT, have through a communique informed the public that the schedule of events for October 2022 is adjusted as follows. 15 October 2022, launching of the MTN 1 Championship in Douala. 22nd October 2022, Champions Trophy in Bafoussam. And lastly, 29th October 2022, launching of the MTN Elite 2 Championship and Cameroonian Footballer of the Year award ceremony, better known as Ballon d'Or, which will take place in the nation's capital city, Yaoundé. Out of the country, the Gambia has launched the urgent door-to-door campaign to remove a cough and cold syrup blamed for the death of 66 children. Police in the Gambia are investigating the deaths of children linked to 4 brands of imported Indian cough syrup. Senior officials from the Medicine Control Agency and the importers have been called for questioning. President Adama Barrow said that the authorities would leave no stone unturned in the investigation. Gambians angry about what happened are wondering who is to blame. Last week, WHO issued a global alert over the 4 cough syrups, warning they could be linked to acute kidney injuries and the children's death in July, August, and September. Take a listen to what Antonio Guterres, WHO Secretary General, said concerning the devastating occurrence.
Products have so far only been detected in the Gambia. They may have been distributed to other countries. WHO recommends all countries detect and remove these products from circulation to prevent further harm to patients.
Over in Nigeria, at least 76 people have been reported dead after a boat capsized in Anambra, southeastern state of Nigeria. The boat, which was carrying at least 80 people, capsized on Friday in the Ogbaru area in Anambra. Most of the victims were women and children trying to reach safety after their community had been inundated by floodings. President Muhammadu Buhari offered his condolences to the families of the victims in the tragic accident. He also ordered a review of safety measures across the country's water transport system, adding that emergency services must do everything to account for those missing. Some officials said the boat had suffered an engine failure and hit a bridge before capsizing. In Somalia, the government of Somalia has taken a decision to enforce a new measure in its fight against terrorism in general and the Al-Shabaab extremists in particular. On Saturday, October 8, the Deputy Minister of Information announced the government banned what it calls the dissemination of extremism ideology messages, both from official media and on social media. The armed forces, backed by local militias and international allies, have waged a campaign against the Al-Qaeda-linked group, which still controls swaths of the countryside. Note that earlier last week, the jihadists carried out a deadly triple bombing. And that concludes Prime Flash today on My Media Prime Television. I have been Eileen for presentation. Thanking you all for viewing. The news was produced by Modika, Elvis. Do stay tuned to more amazing programs coming up today on My Media Prime Television. Details of some of the stories will be yours at 6:30 p.m. during Prime News with Fon Quinta. Up next is a brief with Lasha Kingsley and Bomotonkina Gladys. Have a blessed Monday. Happy New Week.